Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your mid-October 2023 love reading. Thanks to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's why I call it a bridge and a gap spread. And the way it works is to look at the past, present, and future energies between you and the main love interest. Once we get through all that, we'll pull some oracle cards as well for some additional insight. That's the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Romantic Tarot. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around in your personal situation, definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have the Two of Arrows. So this could just be saying that in the past you might have been feeling indecisive around which way you wanted to go regarding this connection. For some of you, it could have been back when Libra season first started. That could have been when you started to feel those doubts as to which way you wanted to go around the connection, but that's what I see with that. And past energy on their side, we have the Death card. So this is Scorpio energy here. And to me, this says that through your inability to make a decision on what you wanted to do with the connection, I feel like this is saying that this person might have assumed that through their eyes, that meant that the connection was over, right? So I feel like there might not have been clear communication as far as what was going on in your mind at the time. So they might have just made the worst case scenario assumption in that regard to think that, okay, well, I guess Sagittarius isn't interested, right? And they just assumed that the connection was over, which for some of you, maybe that was going to be the ultimate result anyway. But to me, seeing those two arrows there, which point to communication, and we see it's like the angelic figure there trying to give you those arrows. I feel like it's probably some kind of intuitive nudges you were feeling around communicating to this person, but I just don't necessarily feel like you got around to it in the past. All right, in the present position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this could just be saying that now you are making the decision to walk away from the connection. Timeline-wise, this could even be pointing to when we have that full moon eclipse in Taurus at the end of October, but that's what I see with that. All right, present energy on their side, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So pretty big contrast, right? Which to me, this looks like this is saying that they still do have that willingness to build this connection, to turn it into something long-standing. But again, like I said, I feel like for whatever reason, there seemed to be a desire on your part to leave the connection behind, right? And like I said, it looks like there wasn't necessarily clear communication on what exactly the issue was, but looks like this person, obviously, with that death card, they didn't look like they were necessarily happy with that ending, but in the present, it looks like they're still holding out hope that there could be something between the two of you. All right, in the near future position, we have the Three of Cups. So to me, this says on the one hand, you're going to be in a much more light, celebratory mood in the near future, but I feel like this is also saying that you're going to decide to really not put any energy toward your romantic lives. You're just going to focus more on your friends, your families, right? So could just be one of those things that as we approach holidays toward the end of the year, right, no matter what culture you're in, could just be one of those things where like, you know what, the holidays are coming up. I mean, I even stress over this connection, right? Let me just spend time with those I'm comfortable with and worry about that kind of stuff later. Right, and future energy on their side, we have the Empress. So this is definitely a solo energy for sure. So it could just be saying that, you know, they might come to that realization that, okay, maybe for whatever reason, Sagittarius isn't interested, right? But I also see this as saying that they won't chase after you either, you know, so maybe that's a good thing. I mean, if you truly aren't interested in pursuing this connection, at least at this time, right, then that could be a positive there, but that's what I see with that. And it makes me wonder as well, I mean, if we look at the cards on their side, we have two major arcana cards, a Ten of Pentacles versus a Five, right? So for some of you, might have even felt like maybe this person was ahead of you in life in some way too. So maybe that was your reluctance to enter into the connection, right? And from what I can see, I don't think that they viewed it that way at all, as, oh, I'm better than Sagittarius, let's say, right? But maybe that was like a self-conscious thing that you might have had going on for whatever reason. I still feel like that's for a small percentage of you, but it's at least a possibility when I look at the cards in their totality. All right, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Five of Cups. So this is Scorpio energy here. And this could just be saying that right when we start Scorpio season, which is coming up soon, could just be one of those things where you might start to feel a little regret around the situation, right? So we do see the 3 cups knocked over there, which we also see the 3 cups in that card, of course. So it could just be one of those things where you might realize, okay, did I possibly shoot myself in the foot around the situation, right? So, I mean, I will say it is weird to try to figure out what exactly is going on with your energy. So like I said, for some of you might be exactly what I was saying, which is that maybe for some of you might have felt like, oh, this person's ahead of me in life or something like that, and for whatever reason that caused you to throw some resistance up toward the connection. But either way, it looks like there could be some regret at the very least, maybe around how you handle the situation, right? So maybe if you genuinely are happy with your decision to leave the connection behind, you might realize that okay, maybe for example, I might have ruined a good potential friendship at the same time, right? So if you're like, oh, this could have been a good friendship, but maybe from my complete withdrawal from the situation and not communicating what was going through my mind, I might have also ruined the friendship. So that could be what you might feel there. And it's just one of those things, you guys are going to have a lot of energy moving through Scorpio, which is your 12th house. So that could bring to light sometimes, maybe if we had some type of self sabotaging behavior, those things could come to the forefront around that time. Bottom of the deck on their side, we have the 3 of Cups. So very different energy from the 3 of Cups in this deck, right? To me, this looks like it's a little bit more, not necessarily negative, but it doesn't have that same positive energy like we see in most 3 of Cups. So it could just be one of those things where they might decide as well, okay, well, I guess I'm going to put my energy toward my friendships and other connections as well, right? So I feel like it's one of those things where on your end, it seems like you made a conscious decision to go that route, whereas for them, they might feel like, well, I have no other choice, right? But like Sagittarius isn't showing any interest, so I guess I'm going to move on. So it seems a lot more reluctant on their side. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we'll see what we get from the Messages Love Oracle cards deck here. Just going to pull a single card from this deck. Alright, and got one there. And next we'll see what we get from the Wisdom Oracle deck. Same situation as a single card from this deck as well. And then we'll read the messages from both cards and wrap the reading up with those. Alright, and got one there. So for Messages Love, we have addiction. It says an addiction is affecting this relationship. Right, well, interesting message there. I don't necessarily see an indicator of that. Although, interestingly enough, I was talking about how you guys are going to have so much energy moving through your 12th house, right? Which occasionally that can point to that type of energy. But overall, I don't necessarily see that being the situation for the majority of you. I mean, I will say, we do see, like I said, usually the 3 of Cups energy is a lot more of a light celebratory energy. It looks a little heavier here. And then, of course, obviously, the 5 of Cups energy looks a little heavier too, and then we do see the devil underneath that too. So for some of you, could definitely be some kind of addictions involved. But let's see. All right, and we have No Place Like Home. There's the artwork, and the number is 50. So let's see what this has to say. Seems like a big contrast, right? Okay, the relationship message says lovers, friends, and companion animals are at home in your life right now. You are in sync and full of love, and you can be secure in the knowledge that it is reciprocated. Relationships elicit a sense of emotional safety, comfort, and the best aspects of familiarity now. Be home in this relationship. Together you add to the love of the world. So interesting message there, because it made me think of more of the Empress energy on this side, especially given the we actually do see the pets in the background, right? So I mentioned companion animals, but I will say for some of you, this could even just be one of those things where, although you might come to the conclusion in very different ways, I feel like what this could be saying for some of you is that you might both realize that you ideally still would have wanted the relationship, But like I said, for this person, it seems like they're feeling like, oh, well, Sagittarius definitely isn't interested, right? And then for you, you might feel like, oh, I guess they moved on, right? So it could just be one of those things where if there were some cross signals, so let's say if this happened during the Mercury retrograde we had recently or the Venus retrograde energy that we had recently, could have all just been down to a misunderstanding between the two of you. So something to keep in mind with that. But hopefully that resonates with you guys. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you next month. All right, bye.